Hi, I'm Madame Pamita, and I love teaching about magic. If you have a question about spells, the law of attraction, spirituality, witchcraft, Slavic folk magic, spirits, divination, you can join me on Sundays at the Live Magic Q&A where we record an episode of my podcast, Magic and the Law of Attraction, and then I answer your questions on anything mystical or magical live over Zoom. Just go to spellsquad.com to get the link to join me in the clubhouse. And don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel and click the bell icon so you get a gentle, magical reminder and you'll be the first witch to see whenever anything new goes up. Here's a great tidbit from one of our past Q&As answering a really important spiritual question.
Victoria has a question. I have questions about being an empath. I know you are a true empath, but can people learn to be an empath or does it come to you at birth? This is really also a great question. Is being an empath something that you learn or something that you are born with? Let me ask you this question. Can anyone learn to draw? Sure, anyone can learn to draw if you apply yourself and you sit down. I mean, you're not even limited to, having the use of hands. You can draw with your feet, you can draw with other things. So anyone can draw pretty much. If you can have muscles that move, you can learn to draw. And yet some people seem to sort of, start very young and have a lot of skill that comes very naturally to them, but anyone can learn to draw. So the same thing with being an empath. And I've got a little story to share about that. So you say that I'm an empath, right? I had to really learn to really open up my skills of being an empath. I'm a Cancer. I just had my birthday. I'm a Cancer. And if you know about Cancer, Cancer is a crab with a shell. I was very good at the shell. I'm very, very good at keeping other people's energy out, right? My natural state of being is I can walk into a room with a lot of chaotic energy and I got my bubble up and I'm fine. I used to say that the test of your bubble is if you can walk into a Kmart on Christmas Eve and not lose your mind. If you can walk into a Walmart or a Kmart on Christmas Eve with everybody's frantic, crazy, anxious, angry energy, because they're all standing in long lines, if you can go in there and not be phased, then you've got a good bubble. So growing up, I learned how to put my bubble up so that nothing out there would phase me and I could have my magical little world and be fine. But when I started to practice divination, not so much even magic, but when I started to practice divination, I wanted to be able to lower that. And I had to train myself to be able to lower that shield and be able to connect. So it isn't that it wasn't possible. I learned it because not that it wasn't there, but I had to sort of access it in a way that I wasn't used to accessing. It wasn't my natural state of being. My natural state of being was projective magic and protection magic and all of that. That came very easily for me. Picking up on subtle energies was not so natural to me. So I had to learn it. So same thing. I wanted to learn art. So I went to art classes. I wanted to learn to be an empath. So I practiced divination and I practiced ESP and psychic skills so that I could learn to do these things. If you were at my crystal ball class, we had a very specific exercise where you get together with a friend, you have a crystal ball and they have a crystal ball, and then you send a message and they're the receiver and you do that, and then you compare notes and then you swap. They're the receiver and they're the sender and you're the receiver, and you see if you can develop that skill. So I think these are things that you can develop. Some people have it much more naturally. They're just natural empaths and they need to learn perhaps to be able to get that bubble so they can turn it off and on and they're not picking up all the stray energy out in the world. But there are other people who have that bubble and need to learn to let the walls down a little bit so that they can receive energy when it's wanted, or they can access information or receive those subtle messages. So yeah, so I think it's something that some people are naturally good at and some people can learn it. Yeah.